Okay, now in this particular video, we will take adverbial clause, right? And we have seen that the noun clause basically replaces a noun, right? And we have seen that adjective clause basically replaces the adjective, or would have done the job of an adjective. Similarly, it modifies, right? Adjective clause basically modifies a noun or a pronoun, correct? It modifies a noun or pronoun. And adverb clause would now do the job of an adverb, right? And what does the adverb do? Adverb basically describes what? Describes the place, the time, the cause, the manner, the degree, right? He walked slowly. So when you say he walked slowly, slowly becomes uh, uh, slowly becomes basically an adverb, right? So you can replace this adverb in a different way. He walked so that he reaches office on time. He walks something like this, right? So we'll take an example here. It says here, just as an adjective clause modifies a noun or a pronoun, so an adverb clause modifies a verb, an adjective or an adverb, or even a participle. The adverb clause denotes different circumstances of place, of time, cause, manner, right? The adverbial clause is joined to the main clause by a subordinate conjunction or by a conjunctive adverb. And what are those subordinate conjunctions? If, since, though, although, than, unless, because. So most of these conjunctions, subordinate conjunctions, they join basically an adverbial clause to the main clause, right? So you'll find that so we'll take examples later on. The conjunctive adverb used to introduce the adverb clauses are when, while, until, after. So these are used basically. These are called conjunctive adverbs, and these are called subordinate conjunctions, right? And these join the adverb clause to the main clause. Now look at this. We will take some examples of adverb clause. Now this is the example of adverb clause of place. Wherever your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So there will your heart be also is the main clause because it is meaningful, and wherever your treasure is. So this becomes the place, right? Adverb clause of place. Time. When love calls, you look not before or after. So you look not before or after is the main clause, and the time says when love calls. So this basically is the adverb clause. When love calls is the adverb clause of time, and you look not or before is the main clause. Because I am happy, I seek for the kingdom of heaven. And why? Because I'm happy is basically the adverb clause of cause. So this shows time, this shows place, this shows time, this shows cause. There is adverb clause of purpose. So that I don't lose the trust of my friends, I am always honest to them. So I am always honest to my friends is basically the main clause, and the purpose is so that I don't lose the trust of my friends. So this becomes basically the adverb clause of purpose. We have the adverb clause of condition. Unless a kernel of wheat is planted in the soil and dies, it remains alone. So look at the main clause. It remains alone. It's meaningful. And what is the adverb clause of condition? Unless a kernel of wheat is planted in the soil and dies. Or you can say, unless you invite me personally, I will not come to your, I will not come to your party. I will not join the party. So this is the condition, unless you invite me, or until, something like this, right? Comparison. There are certain passages in the New Testament that I like more than my mother does, right? So there are certain passages in the New Testament that I like more is the main clause. There are certain passages in the New Testament that I like more than my mother does, right? My mother does becomes, then my mother does becomes basically the adverb clause, dependent clause, right? And it's adverb clause of comparison. So we have covered almost all the phrases. In the first session, we had the parts of speech, which is very rudimentary, did not worry much about the parts of speech. We have covered the phrases, and now we have covered the clauses. So basically, you have the words which have different parts of speech, you have the phrases which have different categories and can act like modifiers, and you have the clauses which also can act like modifiers. And we have seen the different types of clauses. So this basically completes the entire gist of English grammar.